Day 4 is, of course, another bookmark assignment. You need to open your notebooks. I don't have it in here just yet. Page 40 should be the right page in your notebooks. You need to also click the Pear Deck link. Okay, we are going to be skipping a bit in your notes because we're going to be starting on page 40 and then leapfrogging over the pages devoted to your video about the Troubles in 1972 to page 46. But for now, starting on page 40 is exactly the right thing to do. There is your Pear Deck code.
Are you going to collect on my packs?
Yes. Yep. The 20th. Everything gets collected at the end of class on the 20th. Good question. Yeah. Yep. Let's go ahead and get started. As always, that code's going to be hanging out in the upper right-hand corner if you need it. Remember, before we left off with our notes and before you started watching that Edpuzzle assignment to complete your notes about the Troubles in 1972, we talked about the background for the conflict in the 1960s. And remember, a big part of what's important here is violence was not inevitable. There were Catholics working publicly and peacefully for change, as was being done in the United States in our own civil rights movement. But violent groups also start to crop up and become active. We have our Protestant paramilitary, the Ulster Volunteer Force, and Catholic paramilitary, the Irish Republican Army. And also entering into the violence here are the Northern Irish Police, known as the Royal Ulster Constabulary. And as you saw at the beginning of that video, what sparks the violence is police and army reaction to a banned but peaceful protest march. Were you needing a little bit there still, Lexi? Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you were not the only one. You're just the one in my line of sight. If somebody needs that, I can put that back up at the end. So to condense down the Troubles, which is roughly 30 years, a little more than 30 years of violence. And you saw a lot of this. That's a reason for the Edpuzzle. 1972, one of the worst, if not the worst years in the Troubles. You saw terrorist bombings. You saw assassinations. Thank you. You saw some of the urban guerrilla warfare that happened. There was also guerrilla warfare in the countryside. And then, I know this is written in the present tense that you will take notes on provided video content. You guys have already started those notes. If you were here on Friday, they were about that video. And for now, we're going to, as I said, leapfrog over that and talk about the end of the Troubles, which may actually be too optimistic. We can at least for now call it a long pause in the Troubles. You guys will start seeing tomorrow that there have been some flare-ups of violence and potential for a resumption of more open and larger scale conflict. But Northern Ireland has had its chance for peace as a result of the Good Friday Agreement. Religious symbolism is important. In all of these things, we have the Easter uprising. We now have the Good Friday Agreement. Good Friday is the Friday before Easter, marking the day that Christ was killed and was crucified. So it's called the Good Friday Agreement for a reason. It was scheduled that way for a reason. Some of the key points of that peace agreement: Northern Ireland gets home rule back. You saw that it had lost that in 1972 when the government in London reimposed direct rule on Northern Ireland. But that home rule government is going to be different. For one thing, representation in the government is going to be chosen by a proportional representation voting system, which, as we saw earlier, led to more Catholic representation in government. There's also going to be very much more a locked-in power-sharing agreement. At the top of Northern Ireland's government will be two co-equal leaders. One of them will be Protestant, representing Unionists, and one will be Catholic, representing the nationalist side. This ensures that both sides can look at the government and see themselves represented and having authority. That balance is also brought explicitly to the police force, and the name is changed. It's changed from the Royal Ulster Constabulary to the Police Service of Northern Ireland. And it is split evenly between Catholic and Protestant police officers. The police are no longer this representation to Catholics of Protestant authority meant to keep them oppressed. And for Irish Catholics, Irish nationalists who want Northern Ireland to be part of the Irish Republic, there's kind of a compromise here. If you are a nationalist Catholic in Northern Ireland, you still live in the United Kingdom day to day, but you can be a part of the Republic of Ireland because you can be a citizen of the Republic of Ireland. You can have a passport from both countries. So, as we think about the conflict, what you've learned so far, and what you can now see in the agreement that has more or less kept the peace since the end of the 1990s, do you think this conflict was more about religion or more about politics? Choose your answer that you think is correct in the Pear Deck. And again, you're not saying it was exclusively politics or exclusively religion. You are only saying that it was more politics or more religion? Let's just take a few more seconds. We've got about 2/3 of responses in. And by a 3-1 margin, and you guys are saying it's more politics than religion. Again, it's just an opinion, and it's just whether you think it's more than religion or religion more than politics. I'm just always interested to see what my students think. With that, let's go look at what we're going to do between now and the exit slip in the last 3 minutes of class. And that thing for you to do is finish your notes and finish your map packs. So the rest of this until the exit slip is a work day. If what you need to finish is the map pack, you just need to work on the map pack. If you need to finish notes, then I've got kind of a one-stop shop for you of the recordings. Everywhere from the Crusades up through last week's day 3 of the religion and conflict in Ireland. Of course, you are all here for day 4. That just happened. And there is your Ed puzzle from Friday for your notes on pages 41 to 45 in your notebooks. If you need to borrow headphones, please borrow headphones. If you brought your own, you are welcome to use your own until the exit slip. Any questions? Okay, make good use of your time.